This is Greg over at Cranky's. This time I've got I believe it's about a 96 Hot Rod Deluxe. It's an older one. It's had a lot of work done. It's been through a number of owners. And amongst the other work that was done, they rebuilt the power supplies. They added additional capacitance to the B plus part of that, making it 100 microfarad. That gives it quite a bit of bass. Probably too much. And they replaced the two jacks with Switchcraft boxed electronics. They modified the mid-range controls and they put on treble feeds onto the volume and drive channel. And let's see, what else did they do? Okay, they took out the treble feed that lives on the reverb circuit, and they upgraded the resistors that are on the plus or minus 15, 16 volt supplies in there. So what I did was really two things. Put a master volume in place of the number 2 input, and that's a post phase inverter, so it's using a dual gang pot, and taming the 2 drive channels, which took a little bit of voicing, a little bit of trial and error to get those things down to where they work well enough that now I can actually go after it and find some preamp tubes that are really gonna zero this thing in. But the customer was complaining that the 2 overdrive channels sound like pedals, which is an opinion that I share. They're kind of out of control. They push just a whole bunch of treble, and no matter what you play, it kind of comes out at one volume. It doesn't clean up. So I'm playing the green guitar again. I'm just going to stay on the bridge humbucker, which is a treble deficient, fairly hot humbucker. It's a Seymour Duncan custom. And here it is on the clean channel. Master volume all the way up. It's basically unmodified. Not entirely true, but see the volumes on the control is just on 2 on that. Dial that down. So now it's at about the same volume as my voice. Now I'm going to go to the first dirty channel. The drive is around 4.5 right now. So that'll clean up very easily at that setting. And I'm going to go from there. I'm going to go about halfway to all the way. So it hasn't lost its character on that channel, but it's a lot more, less gainy, more kind of dialed in. And from now I'm just going to show you where it goes when it's dimed. You can pick that apart pretty easily, right? So now where that leaves off, if we go back over to the 4.5 over here on the hot channel, red channel, basically picks up right there. Now up halfway to everything on that. And now all the way. That's kind of like what it's doing right now. There's nice low volume. We're getting all those things. We've got 3 usable channels. Okay, how about let's back away from this a little bit here. And where will that go when we go to the hot channel? That's like a nice little volume, you know, so like everything, you bring up the master volume, all 3 channels come up, and it's going to sound a little better. Okay, clean. And we might want to bring up the high trebles a little. And go again. Okay, so that's how that works. I'm like super happy with it. The amp itself will play very nice. Heavy sound, it'll get at it. It's up at the end, so it's kind of like where classic rock and metal sort of pick up. This guy's gonna cover all that stuff. And then, you know, if you don't want to push that hard, then you're just a little lower on the drive channel. And it'll get you a couple of overdrive channels on there that are warm, and you've got clean. We've got, let's cut some mids on that. We've got our moderate gain. And now we've got our high gain. So very usable. Those intermediate drive settings will actually clean up for you. I'm not sure just how well this red hot one will, but let's try it. Pretty well. Actually, it's so organic now. You know, just there wasn't anything on red channel that could respond like that. It was like, well, you could turn it all the way down to 2 and you couldn't get it to clean up. So that's my mod. If it's something that you're interested in, the master volume mod or the cleaning up of the channels, they generally go for $120 for the first mod. And then if you're having more than one thing done, then you get a price breakdown on whatever additional work that you haven't done on it. So this guy's had those two separate mods, and with that he should be like completely happy with this. Like I say, it's ready for me to actually go in and figure out the right tubes for V1 and V2. You know, I can figure this out to the best of my ability before he gets here, but if he comes and he brings this guitar, then we can try those tubes out, and in a few minutes have him completely dialed into what he's, the sound in his head, have it coming out of this amp. The preamp tubes do make that big of a difference, but the amp is behaving like it should, in my opinion. It should be able to clean up and still cover the gambit from very, very clean to very, very dirty without sounding like an effect pedal. You know, a lot of these amps, you know, they just come out one level of distortion, and once you get on that high gain channel, it's just like, and this is one of them. You know, it's not as convincing as a Mesa Boogie, but at the same time, you know, a lot of your Boogie amps are not going to clean up, and that's where the magic is. If you can clean that up with your fingertips, like I was doing, or some guys use the volume control instead. That's the magic setup, because what you're doing is, with an amp that's dialed in right, is you're matching the guitar player, the guitar that he's playing, and scaling it with the amp with essentially a sensitivity control, which is, you know, depending on how it's labeled on the amp, a volume or a drive control is basically scaling the output of me and my guitar with the amp itself, the circuitry that's in there. So I hope you enjoyed that, and the website is guitarrepair.com. I'm going to write this down here. Excuse me. Don't send me emails, call me. The number is 1-800-349-6387. And if you can't remember that, dial 1-800-FIX-ME-UP. And that'll be me, Greg, answering the phone. Thanks.